Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and my question for you today is, are you a floater or a sinker? Are you a floater or a sinker? And you're probably like, what are you talking about? It may not be what you're thinking I'm talking about. It probably isn't. No, I heard this morning. I heard this and I loved it because we've been talking about our thoughts about things and reframing our thoughts and things. And then I heard this morning, I read something this morning that said, imagine that every thought we have is a drop of water. Okay, is a drop of water. So, um, for every negative thought, you get a drop of water over here. And for every positive thought, you get a drop of water over here. Now, eventually, those are gonna grow, right? Based on what kind of thoughts you're having. Most of us have, I don't know how researchers figured this out, but most of us have like 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day. Okay, so 50 or 60,000 times a day, you're adding drops of water to your two pools here, right? Okay, well, positive thoughts help us float. We stay above water and we float, and it's relaxing and easy, right? We're floaters because we feel positive about life. We have a joy-filled take on things. We look for the best. We remain optimistic most of the time. We do our best to see the good in the world and good in other people. So we feel good, right? So we're lighter, so we float, okay? Floaters do that. Those that have primarily negative thoughts, it's very heavy. It's a very heavy feeling, and they sink, right? They sink. Okay, because negative thoughts weigh heavy on us, right? They're like those invisible bricks on our shoulders I've talked about before in other ways. We get heavier hearted, we get physically sicker, we don't sleep as well as people with positive thoughts. We're emotionally not as healthy usually. Our relationships usually aren't as satisfying. Often our work isn't even as satisfying. This affects everything. Your thought patterns affect everything in your life. So you want to check your pools of thought. Which one do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody with a negative pool of thoughts where you're sinking, and you're having a hard time keeping your head above water and feeling good in your life, or feeling like you're going to be okay, or that you can do anything? You're barely able to do that, right? Because you're getting bogged down with the negative thoughts. Or do you want to be a positive thinker and float and just flow in your life and feel like life flows easier for you? So if you are someone who tends to go negative and you'd like to shift over to positive, then here's some thoughts on that, okay? Every time you feel yourself, feeling something or thinking something negative thought comes up, about anything, whether it's, the clouds are gray today, excuse me, negative thoughts can be true. It's just we don't have to focus on them, right? It's a cloudy day, or, I didn't accomplish much this year, or I'm not good enough, or everybody's mean to me, or my boss is a jerk, or, my children don't love me, appreciate me, or I don't know what you're feeling in your lives. But if you're having negative thoughts, I want you to catch it. First of all, you got to catch it. Number one, catch the thought. Oh, catch it. Oh, I just had one. There's one. I just had one. And then ask yourself, what would be the opposite thought to what you're thinking? Like if you're thinking, life stinks, what would be the opposite thought? An opposite or positive thought might be, life is wonderful. Life is full of magic and surprises and good. Or if you feel generally one of your thoughts is the world is basically bad, then okay, catch that thought and then find the opposite thought, which is the world is basically good, and start saying those things out loud, even if you don't really believe them, even if you don't actually believe them. Okay? Seriously. Because if you program your brain to think positively, then things are going to start to happen that feel more positive. You'll start looking for the positive more. It will become more your habit than the other way. Okay, so first you got to catch yourself doing it. Then you want to think of an opposite thought, and then you want to say it out loud or say it in your mind kind of all day long and reprogram your brain to think positively. You know, we all have some core beliefs in the back of our file of our head, many times that were developed as we were growing up, when there were times when things weren't going well. Maybe you were bullied on the playground, or maybe your mom was abusive, or maybe your dad abandoned you, or maybe it wasn't even that dramatic. Maybe you had a sister or brother that you just constantly were in conflict with as kids, or something, or a teacher that told you weren't good enough, or something like that, where you put a message in your brain, "Ooh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving." And so then you come out with this negative framework based on that belief back there. So what we do to nurture those beliefs, to change them around so we do feel good enough, we do feel lovable, and that life's good and everything, is we got to reprogram them with new messages. And so catching the negative thoughts, thinking the opposite thought, saying it out loud, and putting it in our brain to drown out the old voices that say negative things, and looking for the positive. So then you want to add to that pool of positive, so then you can float along in your life and feel a lot better. It's more fun to float than to sink. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.